was your Earth Day. Hope you had a nice day. Are you guys ready to dance? I thought I'd play one more violin song, a dancing song. This one is about keeping on the sunny side. It was written by the Carter family back when times were really hard. Everybody was kind of down and sad. And they're like, you know what? There's still some good things to life. Come on, let's find all the good things to life. Keep on the sunny side. Usually I play it with a mandolin. That's another stringed instrument. A mandolin is a little bit like the same size as a violin, but I have it on my lap and I use a pick to play it. It's a little piece of plastic or metal or stone sometimes. And pluck it like that. But I don't have a mandolin, so I'll play it on the violin. Okay. I'm going to start with the sunny side. Ready to dance? Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help you every day. It will brighten all your way. If you keep on the sunny side of life. There's a dark and a troubled side of life. There's a bright and a sunny side too. Though you meet with the darkness and strife, the sunny side may always also find you. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help you every day. It will brighten all your way. If you keep on the sunny side of life. Keep on the sunny side. There's another sunny type song that usually makes me laugh. My sister would sing it at camp time. And it's You Are My Sunshine. Now usually You Are My Sunshine is a very sad song, but she made it funny. It goes like this. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I miss you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamt I ate a big marshmallow. But when I woke, dear, my pillow was gone, dear. So I hung my head down and cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dears, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Love you guys. Okay. I'm going to read a story, but first I realized we didn't look at our music book, the string instrument part. And look at that. There are some of the instruments that I showed you. Here's the violin. This one is slightly bigger. It's called a viola, so it has a deeper sound because the string's longer and thicker. This one you might recognize, the cello, and then that's the bass. That's how big it is. Woo! There's a lot of different instruments. That's how they make it. There's a harp string instrument that has 47 strings. Whoa, look at all of those. That's kind of like the mandolins that I was talking about, the banjos. Woo! Wow, so many stringed instruments. These are from India. Wow, they have really cool sounds. You should check those out. Okay, the book I have is called The Music Inside Me. And it was written by 4th and 5th graders at a school in Connecticut. Yep, that's what it's by. The Music Inside of Me. So, when I was a young girl, I lived by the water on a street called Seaside Place. At the end of the block stood an old house that people thought was haunted, and in it lived a crotchety old man whose wife died a long time ago. There he is, sitting inside. Crotchety means maybe he's grumpy. Everyone thought he was at least 105 years old. Every day he'd sit on the porch with his right hand rummaging in a bucket and his left hand making movements like this. We never knew what he was doing. Everyone thought it was creepy and were scared of him. Well, one day they were playing a game of dare, and because she said that because she was the youngest, she said, I lost the game of dare, and I had to go talk to him. They dared me to go talk to him. Well, guess what? I was glad I did. 40 years later, I still smile, and I'm happy that I lost that game, and I had to go talk to him. I walked to his porch. I was trembling inside, scared. The old man's eyes were closed, and he was humming, and his fingers were moving so fast. I tried to clear my throat to get his attention, but he didn't hear me. I was so close, I could feel butterflies inside my stomach. My friends were in shock. I touched him on the shoulder, and it scared him. I tried to run away, but he said, wait, wait. And I knew. He said, you must be the loser of the game, he chuckled. Did they dare you to come see the creepy old man? He laughed. I could feel my face getting red hot with embarrassment. How did you know that's what we called you? I might be old and creepy, but I haven't lost my hearing yet, he said, laughing. Every day the wind blows and the conversations of all you rascals drift right onto my porch. But don't worry, your secrets are safe with me. In fact, I enjoy hearing your voices and laughter. It adds to the music inside of me. I'd enjoy it even more if you would talk with me. So I decided to do that. I sat down. I could hear my friends running away. My heart thumped, and I told him my name was Jenny, and I was 7 years old and lived up the block. He introduced himself as Mr. Blaine, Charles Blaine, but he said with a wink that his friends called him Charlie. A bold 7-year-old that I was, I said, okay, Charlie, can I ask you a question? What are you doing with your fingers? Why do you move them around like that? You are a bold young lady. Sit down, and I'll give you an answer. And he began his story. Ooh. Years ago, he said, I was a world-renowned cellist. I played for hundreds of audiences in 23 different countries. As I grew old, I developed something called arthritis. My fingers became very stiff, and I could not perform anymore. But the music is still inside me. And when I hum, my left hand can't help itself. It plays the notes. I remember. I think you kids talk about playing the air guitar. Well, I play the air cello. That's cool. I had to get home for dinner, but squeezed in one more question. I was curious about the bucket that he always had his hand in. What's in the bucket? I asked. Ah, are you interested in my sea glass collection? You and your friends are not the only ones who walk along the beach. Before you were even born, I would take long walks on the rocky shore hunting for sea glass. Tomorrow, why don't you and your friends come visit this creepy old man, and I'll tell you about my sea glass. That is, if your friends aren't too chicken, he said with a smile. So I went home eagerly awaiting the next day. The following afternoon, my friends were still astonished by my bravery. As the daredevil of our group, I could now embarrass them into visiting Charlie. They trudged along behind me as we neared Charlie's house. So, the motley crew's here, he said from his porch. Come and sit down. I'll enjoy the company, and you may learn something. I introduced all my friends, and they barely stammered hello. With my dumbstruck friends being no help, I blurted, "Can you show us your sea glass?" "Ah, you'd like to see my treasures from the sea," Charlie responded. He bent over and picked up the bucket and set it on his lap with a groan. It was heavy. Holding a piece up to the light, he said, "You see, this piece, like every piece, is worn and tumbled, has traveled many miles, and has been bumped and banged over rocks and sand until beautifully polished. I like to think of it as just being just like me," he said. "Every time I pick up a piece, it reminds me of the sights, sounds, and memories of my life at the seashore." I reached into the bucket and pulled out a beautiful red piece and asked him what that reminded him of. "Oh," he said, "if I close my eyes, I see the red, sunburned cheeks of my daughter as she skipped gracefully along the seawall many years ago." "How old is your daughter now?" my friend asked. "She's 47 years old, and she has a family of her own. Unfortunately for me, they live far away in Utah, but I love hearing the chatter of my grandchildren on the phone. It's part of the music inside of me." "What about this piece?" another friend asked. "That lovely sea green reminds me of the beautiful sparkle of my wife's green eyes." Everybody started digging into the bucket and asking all questions about each piece. It was a wild chorus of voices asking, "What about this one and that one?" Charlie quieted us all down with a holler, "One at a time!" "Ah, Susan, that blue piece reminds me of a clear blue water of the harbor. Kevin, that purple piece reminds me of the gorgeous winter sky at sunset." I asked about an amber-colored piece. "That is the color of my cello," he said, "which created the most wonderful music for me many years ago. When I see that piece, I think of my first performance at Carnegie Hall." "Don't you get sad when you think of these memories?" I asked. "Ah, yes, this is sadness, Jenny, but these memories are inside me. My daughter, my wife, my music, they are inside me. They are always part of me and will always be a part of the music inside my heart." That's him playing. This is a big performance hall, and there he is, playing his cello. Music inside of him. Bobby had run down to the beach and excitedly came back with a piece of sea glass for Charlie's collection. "This, Bobby," he said, "this one is young like you. Its edges are still rough. It needs to travel more places and be bumped around. Then it can go in my bucket." Charlie picked up a handful of sea glass and said softly, "You know what I like best? Listen." And he dropped the glass back into the bucket, and it made the most wonderful plinking noise. It's the music of sea glass. I guess everything has its own music, huh? Its own sound. From that day on, we spent afternoons with Charlie listening to fascinating stories of his life. What he liked best of all was hearing us coming up the dirt road, chattering and laughing. He always said it added to the music in his heart. One day we arrived, and there was a for sale sign in the front of the house. With downcast eyes, Charlie explained that because he was getting older, his daughter thought it would be best if he lived with her. He was glad to be moving closer to his daughter, but very sad to be leaving Seaside Place. We were disappointed, too. He was no longer a creepy old man. He became our dear friend. Before he moved, we all worked together on a gift for Charlie. The day he was leaving, we sat together on his porch. He told us to never lose the music inside our hearts. A gentle breeze blew just as he opened his gift, a wind chime made of sea glass. The chime's soft plinking music brought tears to his eyes, and he said one last time, "This will be the part of the music in my heart." We hugged goodbye, and that was the last time I saw Charlie Blaine. Years later, a package arrived for me. It was from Utah, from Charlie's daughter. I opened it to see the long-forgotten sea glass wind chime and a note that read, "Mr. Blaine passed away last month. Before he died, he asked me to send the wind chime to the young girl who added much music to his life. It now hangs on my porch." Aww, that is such a sweet story of how the kids were first afraid of their neighbor, but then they got to know him and found out what a nice guy he was, and he had a lot of stories to tell, and that he had music inside of him. Music was even the voices, and hearing the kids talking, it filled the music inside of him. I have music inside of me from all of you. I hold it inside my heart too, just like Mr. Charlie. I hope you guys have a beautiful evening and a nice night. I'll see you later.